0, 1. Let's get started.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Black and White United Show. I'm your host Andreas. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. In today's video we're going to be doing our review of the game against Brisbane, the Easter Thursday clash. Unbelievable game by Collingwood. Don't think anybody expected us to win the way that we did. A lot of us expected us to win. I was obviously 50-50. I said line 15 points, either team by 15 points. I was wrong. We turned it on. Let's just get straight into this video. Before we begin this video, please visit our sponsor. This video today is brought to you by Hoppers Bro Barbecue. Please make sure that you visit their Instagram page for all your tips and tricks. Okay, so in this review, I'm not going to go quarter by quarter. I'm not going to give you a review play by play or anything like that at all. I'm just going to back up what I said last week from the after the Sydney review about the full quarter performance, about when we've been challenged, we respond. So from my eyes and from what I saw, there were times in each quarter, even when we were pulling away from them, where Brisbane would score 1 or 2 goals in a row, or they'd have, a 5-minute passage of play where they're controlling the football, and we would respond. The best part about the whole thing was we not only responded by then getting control of the actual ball and dominating the possession of the football, but we responded by affecting the scoreboard. Now, as I said, I'm not going to go into play-by-play, but there's just a couple of key moments that I want to talk about. So first of all, I'll talk about the negative. And even though there was a 52 or 53-point win, which was fantastic, there are just a couple of little negatives that I want to focus on first, and then we can move on to the positive. Now, I know people will probably be thinking, oh my God, mate, we smashed the premiers and blah, blah, blah. You got to be happy. I am so happy. But there's just a couple little things that we need to fix. It's one main problem though, but there's a few players doing it. It's our kicking for goal. Now, our kicking for goal wasn't actually that bad in this game, right? But Mason Cox was a late inclusion, right? And he's knocking down the door, and I'm going to get to his role on the side in a second. And this also goes to Dan McStay. We respond with Brisbane having so much of the play, right? And then we get the ball from the back line. We do this unbelievable transition of play from Howe and Cripps in the back line, pushing it forward. McCreary's getting it on the wing, who was fantastic. He got 11 disposals, so, slowly getting up, but he's affecting the scoreboard too, which is great now. We bring the ball up. Cox takes 2 marks directly in front of goal. McStay takes 1 in the forward pocket. McStay goes and he snaps it and he misses it. If you're going to snap it, take more of your time and just put it through. You're 15 metres out for goal. You're our key forward. You need to be putting them away. Mason Cox, you are knocking down the door to get into this team. You are, on the verge of potentially playing in another grand final, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but we're on that path at the moment, right? That's where we're sort of aiming for. If there's an injury to one of the forwards, you're the next in line, so you need to perform. You're directly in front of goal. You are brought into this game of AFL without bad habits. And what I mean by that is that when somebody like myself, for example, when I first started playing football in the early 90s, right? You don't have any bad habits. You learn bad habits with your kicking, your hand passing and stuff like that. Cox has come into the football world, right? And he has picked up all these skills where you don't necessarily need to form bad habits because you're older. Your motor skills are different. Your learning habits are different as opposed to what they are when you're a kid, right? I know a lot of football nerds will know what I'm trying to say. You're directly in front of goal. You got to pop those through. They are crucial. We did it against Bulldogs and we didn't hit the scoreboard and we could have won by 30-40. We did it against Carlton. We could have won by 30-40 more. We only won by 17 against them, for God's sake, right? This is a focal point of our game where if we're going to crucify teams, right? If we're going to crucify teams across the year, regardless of their status on the ladder or whatever, This is the one facet of our game, the one focal point of our game that we need to 100% just get spot on. The words can't even come out of my mouth properly. We need to fix this area of our game. If we can fix this area and convert, especially when other teams are starting, because Brisbane are a different kettle of fish compared to the others. They are the benchmark of the competition. Take us out of it. They are the benchmark of the competition, right? So when we get a chance to make them pay for their errors and we transition it up forward and we take the mark, this is the part of the game that we need to fix. Now, before we go to the positives, just process that. I'm going to state something here and I'm going to put my hand up and I'm going to say this is the most correct call I will ever make posting these videos, right? When Mason Cox, however, is in our team, when Mason Cox plays for the Collingwood Football Club, when he is in the starting 23, when he is in the starting, like on the ground, whether it be on the bench or on the ground, when he's starting, not as a sub, when he's in the starting 22, for example. Collingwood is a better team when he is playing. Now, McRae said Darcy Cameron copped a couple of knocks and stuff like that against Sydney. He was a bit beaten, he was a bit bruised or whatever, yeah? So I thought, you know what, take Sullivan out. De Goey's coming back in, so it's a like for like. This is the thinking, right? Take Sullivan out, put De Goey in, right? Give Sully a rest. You give him Membry a rest as well. So bring in Cox, perfect replacement. He can take the Membry role up forward and he helps out Cameron in the ruck. When Mason Cox plays in the ruck, when he helps out Darcy Cameron, I will say this until the day that I cark it. We are a better football team when he is playing. His role is invaluable to the Collingwood Football Club. He might only be there for 1 or 2 more seasons, but he makes Darcy Cameron a better footballer. He makes Darcy Cameron a better ruckman. He makes Darcy Cameron the best ruckman in the competition because he alleviates so much pressure off him. Because he then he says, oh, you can go on the bench now or you can rest up forward and I'll take the brunt of it, which means McStay stays up forward, which means McStay can take the marks 20 metres out directly in front, which means when Cox goes forward, he draws another main defender, the second biggest defender. He can draw him out. And then it means that the likes of McStay, the likes of Jamie Elliott, the likes of whoever else is in there at the time can apply their trade and do their thing. We have the key ingredients to be an amazing football team this year. And it is so obvious it's right there. Now, I know with Billy Frampton coming in and you got all these tools and you're going to have to do this and do that and, you know, move the magnets and whatever. But it is so obvious, and I don't understand why so many Collingwood supporters and football people in general can't see how important Mason Cox is to the Collingwood structure in allowing Darcy Cameron to be the best ruckman in the competition. When he is the best ruckman in the competition, we don't lose. It's that simple. We don't lose. We don't lose when these guys are playing like football. Cox doesn't even have to play his best game. And look how good Darcy Cameron becomes. If we didn't have the Lord Saviour Nick Dacos playing for us, Darcy Cameron would be our best and fairest every single year. Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Now, let's get into the even better positives. What a full quarter performance. I'm not even going to do segments in this video. I'm just going to rant on because that was the best full quarter performance we've put on in such a long time. And you know what? I said the same about last week against Sydney. This game made me realize that I'm probably underrating us a little bit in some of the times where I'm like, oh, you know, 4 block periods, this, that. We went to Brisbane against the reigning premiers, deservedly so because they're a fantastic side, yeah? And we take nothing away from Brisbane. Yeah, they probably had a bit of a shitty night, 100%, right? They had a really down night, but we were elite. We were absolutely phenomenal. Our pressure rating was through the roof. They said it on Fox Footy. I can't remember what the number was, but it was elite. We went to the reigning premiers in Brisbane and we took the piss out of them. We legitimately dismantled them. As I said at the start of the video, every single time they challenged us. As David King would say, Pies, who's coming with me? What's going to happen? What have you got for us here? What have you got for us? Look what we did. Ned Long is the secret ingredient to our club. Tom Mitchell is not coming back. Tom Mitchell is not replacing Ned Long. People who love Tom Mitchell, me included, stop being in denial. Ned Long is the new Tom Mitchell. Ned Long is excuse me, Ned Long is the one key ingredient in our side that allows players like Nick Dacos, and don't get me started because we've got Dan Houston coming in next week as well, and potentially Lockie Schultz. We're going to get even better, right? We have all the little key ingredients to make everything gel and click. Finally. We struggled with that in 23 and we won the flag. We had to get everything right at the right time. I know it's early. I know I could be getting ahead of myself. But we have the right bits and pieces to make this shit work. Right? Our backline, Billy Frampton, well done. Josh Dacos, well done. Isaac Quainer, you actually had a decent game. I think you only got like 10 disposals or whatever, but you had a good game. Harry Perryman, I think he got 9 disposals off the top of my head, but crash, bash, intercept, tackle, pressure, in and under the pack. Bo McCreary, again, what you're doing with the football is amazing. What you're doing away from the football is even better. You just got to get your hands on the ball more. But I'm not going to complain because you impact the scoreboard now as well as putting pressure around the ground. DeGoey, fit to perform, got better as the game went on. I think he'll be right for Anzac Day. If he's match hardened now, he's ready to go. He's going to go for Anzac Day. Lipinski, fantastic. McStay, Cameron, Dacos's. I mean, you can't. There wasn't a player on the ground that played a really poor game. I'm not going to say anything about Ed Allen because he didn't get enough time on the ground to actually warrant a review or anything like that, or a player rating, or any sort of criticism or whatever it is. He didn't get enough time on the ground for that. I would have liked him to come on more, but at the same time, speaking of Moore, I mean, he came on because Darcy Moore got hit. Darcy Moore's not concussed. It was just cut open. He's playing Anzac Day as well. And he's defending. When everything gels, Darcy Moore shows why he's one of the best defenders in the competition, right? And I know there's a lot of criticism and stuff on him. And, I'm one of the ones that, sometimes you think, oh, geez, he exposes us a little bit. He goes too much for the ball, not worries about his man and stuff like that. But when the back line is gelling well, it allows him to do that. So I'm not going to go through quarter by quarter, give you play-by-play stuff or whatever. At the end of the day, this is my review. This is what I've seen. I'm so excited. I'm so happy for the way that we performed in this game. The goal kicking needs to be fixed up, especially the easy ones. When you're making them pay, I don't care. We're going to miss goals here and there. Every club does it. But on transition, the opposition stuffs up, and you bring the ball up forward. You got to just make them pay on the scoreboard a little bit more. The goals that they scored, Jack Cripps dropping the ball and then they going in and taking one. I mean, that stuff happens, right? But when they stuff up, you got to make them pay on the scoreboard. And the good part about it was we made them pay on the scoreboard without even forcing too much errors. We just got the ball and did what we did because we're that damn good, right? Now, it's early. Essendon can come out on Anzac Day as well, beaters, and put us away. It's a different kettle of fish Anzac Day. I'm fully aware of what happens then. But let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy this Easter break. Let's, we're 5-1 at the moment of time filming this video. We're obviously still on top of the ladder. Put that on the internet. But it is what it is. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm revved up. I want us to continue this form because it's so good to see. We're going to lose other games this year. We're going to have a patch of, down period and stuff like that. We're all human. It happens. But right now, as we speak, we are playing such good football. And it's just fantastic to see the difference between us and other clubs in the competition who thought that they would be up there this season, right? And you just look at the difference. And we're just doing what we need to do, which is fantastic. Enjoy your Easter. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. Christos Anesti to all my family and friends. leave a comment, tell me what you think, call it as you see it, and as always, go the Pies.